So, if you missed it by any chance, we just released our first game on Steam, and today I want to talk to you about what we've learned from that process and whether or not it's been a success. So let's just jump straight into it. What's going on, everybody? My name is Cuba and I make games, most recently a game called Tilelands, which, as I said in the intro, came out on Steam on the 1st of November 2023. So it's been out for about 2 months now, and honestly it's done better than I expected it to. I'm going to talk a lot about how it's done. We're going to look at the numbers, look at the stats, and I want to just preface this video with this is going to be more of a post-mortem for the game rather than a devlog. If you're interested in seeing a devlog, then please let me know in the comments and I'll look to get one made. But let's jump straight into things. So here we are in the dashboard, and you can see the game in 2 months of being released has sold about 315 copies, with a total of 318 including Steam keys that I've sent to content creators. We've had 22 returns total, with a gross revenue of $967, working out to $807 net, including, chargebacks, returns, Steam's cut, taxes, all the rest of it. We're averaging about 29 daily active users at present, with current players kind of sitting between 2 to 10, which is kind of a large range, I know, but it's pretty decent. And we've had a total of 269 unique users, which is very cool. Median play time of 1 hour and 6 minutes, and our wish lists are currently sat at 891. So this is really cool. I was really happy with these results, considering I basically did nothing to market the game up front, and it was more of a experiment to learn about the process of releasing onto Steam and knowing how to, what goes into launching a game, rather than aiming for pure success on Steam. So in my eyes, this has been a successful endeavor. It's outperformed my expectations, but for your typical consideration for a Steam release, this is not by any means successful, if you will. I did also want to share the reviews state. We've currently got 11 reviews, 100% positive for the game, which is really nice. Everyone's had really nice things to say about the game and given really positive feedback, so I've got no complaints there. So, having had a look at those stats, let me take a minute to talk about the background of the project, kind of how long it took and what the goals were. Tilelands probably started official development in February sort of time of 2023. I had set out with the intention, like I said before, to just make a game that I could release on Steam so I could learn the process and see how things would kind of go. And I'd come up with this idea for a Tetris meets Dwarf Romantic meets Islanders type thing, which I'd originally planned to release onto mobile on iOS and Android, but I quickly fell into this camp of not being quite happy with how I could get the UX feeling and figuring out controls, so it eventually switched away from being Tetris to just being individual tiles, and then quickly moved on from being on mobile to being on Steam. So, regarding development time, I initially set out to have 3 months is the deadline for when this game would be done by. Like I said, we started it in February and I wanted to have it released by, I think, June. So yeah, basically 3 months, not a lot of time at all. In the end, it took a fair bit longer than that. The game didn't come out until, as I say, 1st of November. I think it was actually done with development a little bit before that, a few weeks, because I had to submit builds to Steam, make sure that it could get approved, sort any issues with the launcher and things like that. There was maybe 2-3 weeks before when it actually officially released that wasn't active development time, and then the time in between there was a combo of part-time work and then long hiatuses, but it ended up taking about 8 months of real world time, from start of February to November, where the game was in development, and eventually coming to release on Steam. So, like I say, a large part of that was down to me just procrastinating and not having time. I was busy with work at points, and there was other stuff going on with us trying to sort things out in the flat, making things happen. I was on tour for a little while in the UK with the band that I'm in. And so, yeah, lots of stuff that got in the way of me being able to work on the game as much as I would like to, and obviously having a full-time job, I can only work on it part-time outside of working hours as well. So it's limited how much I can get done in how much time, and I just massively underestimated how much time it would take for me to get the things I wanted to do done. In terms of the actual people involved, it wasn't just me working on this game, which I was really grateful for, because it would have taken me so much longer still. But I covered the majority of all the code work. I had another developer with me to kind of bounce ideas off and get some boilerplate in for some of the features, which then got refactored and integrated into the game by myself. My girlfriend Adele was responsible for all of the visuals. She made all of the little tile graphics, and I'm just super chuffed with how they came out. They look amazing. And we had a sound designer on board to do the sound effects and integration for those as well. So it was a nice little team, and it was, yeah, much nicer being able to work with other people, talk things through, get more ideas than just having to do the whole thing by myself. So let me talk about some key things that I've learned about this and stuff that you can take away as well. And we're going to take a look at some more graphs over in Steam as well to kind of get an idea of where I'm pulling this information from. First things first, I just want to reiterate my biggest lesson learned is it always takes longer than you think it will. And this came up multiple times in the development of Tilelands, because we wanted to get Tilelands a demo ready for Steam Next Fest in June of 2023. And at the time, I was due to be in Lithuania for visiting my girlfriend's family, because that's where she's from. And again, recording and writing music with my band, shooting music videos. There was a lot of stuff just in life that got in the way, and also things in terms of discussing, you know, what actually is the game loop here? Are the decisions that I'm making in the right direction for what the game is designed to be? Are they actually making it more fun, or are they making it less fun? Because I didn't really come up with a proper prototype or concept for the game before I started developing it. I just went at it. So there's two things. Always make a prototype. It'll save you so much time to just spend 2 weeks making a thing to decide if it is or isn't fun, and then go on to develop the rest of the game with that core at the center of it. And lesson number 2, plan for it to take 3 times longer than what you planned. I thought it was going to take 3 months, ended up taking about 8. So, you know, just short of 3 times longer than what I had initially planned. Lesson number 2 is marketing is everything, and this is really crucial, because what I've actually discovered, I had a lot of self-doubt with this game when I was developing it. I felt like it was good, I felt happy with it, and I kept, you know, going with the narrative in my head of this is a lesson for how I can release stuff on Steam. I'm just doing this to get a game released and learn the process, not pushing for massive success. So I kind of let marketing take the back burner and felt, you know, I can just put this up for a little bit of money, and basically probably how much it's worth in my head. From the feedback that we've had from people who've played the game both in the demo format and who have bought it fully, we probably A, could have charged more for it, and B, it's a lot more fun than we thought it was, or a lot more fun than I thought it was anyway, because I was kind of stuck in this, you know, mindset of having worked on it for so long. I think I've got something like 467 hours in Tilelands now from developing it. So, you know, that gives you an idea of how quickly maybe you could get burnt out on the mechanic or feeling out if the idea is actually fun anymore. And it's very good teller of how important playtesters are, and then how good marketing needs to be in order to get the user base. So let's hop back over into Steam and take a look at some of the graphs so I can point out where things have happened. So what I've got up on screen at the moment is the past 3 months of sales for the game, and we'll take a look at the wish lists as well to see how these have impacted. But you can see there's a few spikes in the game's sales and downloads, and these all happened at crucial times for things that we were doing. Obviously, November the 1st was the release date of the game, and Steam gives you an algorithmic boost on launch just to put you in front of people. So that's that first spike. Spike number 2, we had a content creator in the UK called The Geek Cupboard create a video on the game, which was amazing. That got us a few views, a few more sales from that as well, just from the exposure. New Year's, very exciting, very unexpected. We had Olexa make a video on the game, which I was just so grateful for, but that video has done really well. I think it's currently sat at the time of recording at 36,000 views, and people really seem to like the game, and it has quite clearly, you know, had a good impact with it yielding us 47 sales on that day, compared to the 21 that we had at launch. It's like, you know, more than double. So things like that really do make a difference. Likewise, with wish lists, there is also a massive impact on certain things happening. There are quite clearly a good set of major spikes that we have on this graph, and I can map them all to specific events. This one here on March 16th, that was the launch of the Steam page. Immediately, algorithmic boost, because Steam is like, yeah, cool, you've got a page, we're going to start putting you in front of people. Then this next boost came up during Steam Next Fest in June, which we entered. We didn't have the demo for, but because we didn't pull out, we still got a bit of a boost for people to be able to see our page. We didn't have a demo for people to play, so the boost wasn't as considerable as it could have been, and it also meant that we forfeited the chance to enter any further Next Fests for the rest of the year. However, it did mean that we got this extra boost for wish lists and a little bit of extra exposure. Later on, August 24th, at this point I had the video with Blackthorn Prod doing the Pass the Game challenge. That was a fantastic opportunity I'm really grateful for, which gave me the ability to plug my game on a large channel for people to go and check out, and that yielded us about 57 wishlist additions. Then finally we move on to launch day. Game launched 1st of November, algorithmic boost again, had that video covered by The Geek Cupboard, and finally the video cover by Olexa, and hitting 10 reviews on Steam just yesterday, massively increasing the amount of wish lists we're getting and giving us the boost. That really is a magic number, the 10 reviews on Steam, and having them all be positive is just amazing to me. I feel so grateful for how this game was done. I really can't stress enough. Just like it's great. It's great. I'm very happy. So as you can see from the graphs, the marketing efforts, i.e. getting people to play the game, making posts, collaborating with other YouTubers, getting Steam affairs in order, all of these things play a massive part in the amount of traffic that's coming through to the page, the amount of people that are wish listing, and therefore the amount of people that are converting into sales. And the final biggest takeaway that I want to put in, your game does not need to be perfect to be able to release it. Tilelands probably riddled with a lot of bugs that I still don't know about, balancing issues that need resolving, things like that, but people still like the game. At its core, it's, you know, a fun concept, it's novel, it takes things that already exist but puts a nice spin on them, and that's the kind of feedback that we're getting from everyone, is that this seems like a really fun little concept that adds a fresh light to other similar games in the genre. Even though it's not perfect, we're currently working on revamping the graphics, balancing stuff like I say, but people are still leaving positive reviews, still enjoying playing it. Nothing more to say. Your game does not need to be perfect to be able to release it. It just needs to be good enough. And then you can always add more to it later. This doesn't mean be like, you know, the big AAA studios and release a half-baked game that's riddled with bugs that are game-breaking. You know, the game still needs to be playable, it still needs to work and prove the concept, but even if you release into early access, you can have bugs and you can have problems, and the community is relatively forgiving, but also very, very brutally honest with the feedback in a very positive way. Don't get in your own way. Don't make it perfect, just make it good enough and release something. Cool, so that's the top 3 that I wanted to talk about really. There's plenty of other little things in there which I'm sure I'll talk about in future videos and live streams, but I want to talk about what's next with the game and what's next with the studio and the channel. With Tilelands, we are planning a major update for Q1 of this year. It should be coming out at the end of February, start of March. Like I said, this is going to include some major graphical overhauls, some new features, things like daily leaderboards, weekly leaderboards, and challenge leaderboards. We're also going to be including things like cosmetic packs, which aren't paid DLC. They'll be free in the update, the type of thing where you score a certain threshold and it unlocks you a new little cosmetic pack, like the Japanese style tile art or underwater style tile art, things like that, just to give you a bit of variation, and plenty of other balancing things in there as well, which add features to stuff like the marshland tiles, balance out things like the volcanoes, make everything a lot more coherent and a little bit more of an enjoyable experience from quality of life perspective based on feedback that we've had from you guys in the community. There is also a new project that we started working on, which I'm looking forward to announce as soon as I possibly can. All being well, hopefully it will be towards the end of this month, so all I'd say is watch this space, and if everything goes to plan, you'll be seeing that very soon. And that pretty much wraps up everything I have to say. Thank you very much, you guys, for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and that there was some nice information in here. I'm looking to do more videos again in this year and bringing back live streams again as well, just when things start quieting back down after the New Year's rush. And yeah, if you enjoyed, leave a like on the video, hit that subscribe button. We're almost at 1,000, so it would massively help me out. And until the next one, cheers.